Okay, I'm here with a Frigidaire gallery microwave that is tripping ever so often when we hit the start button. And it's been at first kind of every now and then, to the point now, as soon as I plugged it in and set the time, put a time in, hit start, it would immediately flip the breaker. I was thinking, well, maybe it's on the same circuit as the refrigerator and it's pulling too much power. I knew in my mind, I'm just thinking that shouldn't be the case unless the compressor was running at the same exact time, da-da-da. So kind of got to researching and saw this as kind of a normal problem. And I'm not really going to go in. I've already took it apart. That's real simple. There's other videos. I'm making another video on this because the videos I saw didn't go over the certain thing that I have figured out. So to take this grill here that is up here, there's one screw here, and then when the grill and the faceplate's on, there's one screw right in here. Then on this model, you have to get an extended bit and actually go through this grill on top where that cutout is, or the one below it. And there's a screw right here that then will allow the faceplate to, it pulls up a little bit and out. And you do, if you're handy, and you probably are if you're watching this video, you do have to unplug all these, and usually they're all dummy proof. They're none the same. I took a picture just in case. Unplug all those, get that out of your way. Then what seems to be the major problem with these is you got these two hooks, and I think most microwaves are mostly the same. And when it closes, looks, when you first look, you think, well, there's two switches in there. There's actually three. There's one up top, one on the bottom, then they call a center one, which I think actually tells you when the door is open and closed. I could be wrong, but that's the problem we're having, is this middle switch here. See, there's one down low, one up top, then you have what they call a middle one. And what happens, these two are pretty much dummy proof, because when those hooks go in, they push up on the switch button. But you see that little gray? That's a switch that's pushed into, I'm not going to take that apart. There's just a switch that'll, if you take these two screws out here, this thing will slide up and the whole assembly will come out, and you can get to those little switches. They're probably cheap. But my problem is I don't need one. A lot of people pull them out and they're just broke, or there's a little bitty button. I don't know if we can see it. Let me get a flashlight. Let's see if I can get this right. If you could see, there's up top, you see the gray, and then there's a black dot. That's actually the switch button itself. So when this hook goes in, it pushes on that little black button. Well, what's happening with mine is, I'm going to turn on my meter. You hear it's got continuity, which means it's saying that it's open right now, which is correct. When I close it, it goes off, saying that the door's closed. So what happens if that switch goes bad, it'll beep. It thinks the door's open, which will trigger the microwave to flip the breaker. As you can see, my door's closed. Should not be beeping. The problem is the switches, they're not really tight in there, and the door, any movement, see that I'm just barely moving the door, barely in and out. I mean, 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. So if you just gradually close your door, it's thinking it's open, and it's going to trip the breaker because it's still trying to run. At the same time, it thinks the door's open, so it's like, oh, something's wrong. Well, there is. So what I'm going to do is turn this off first. Won't hear that beeping. But on your, if you got a meter, gosh, I can't even see. It's that right there, which looks like a antenna or Wi-Fi. And then you just took, I made me a little pigtail because I couldn't hold it at the same time. If you just touch those two, no matter which wire, it'll beep telling you there's continuity there. And when you close that switch, it should stop beeping. So what I'm going to do is that little black button, which is up in here first, it's not the switch. I took the switch out, and it, when you push that button and you hear a click, and some people, it is the switch is bad. When you start pushing that button, it's either stuck or it just don't click. It don't feel right. Mine's not the case. This thing has been barely used. So I'm going to take that switch out. I'm going to take some super glue and a little, maybe start out with a thin piece of plastic. Maybe I cut it off something else. On that little black button. Because what's happening is this hook, it moves a little bit too. And this switch in here, it rocks. To give it more space, an extra piece on there to hopefully, when I close this door, that hook actually pushes on that button and keeps it in, even if, did you hear it? You hear it unclicking. You know, and you always can't sit here and just hold the door in the whole time if you're cooking a baked potato. So I'm hoping if I put a little extra something on that switch. I thought about, you know, you think tape or something, but you want something that's going to last. It's not going to wear out or fall off, but I'm thinking I'm going to cut a little piece of plastic off of something I threw away and super glue it on the end of that thing. I mean, there's plenty of room in there, even if it's a little bigger than the button itself. Then when I close this door, it'll detect that it's closed all the time and fix this $400 microwave that a lot of people just probably go, well, it's trash. And I haven't priced those switches, but I'm thinking eBay, $5, $10 maybe, I don't know. But it seems to be the major issue with these microwaves flipping a breaker. Anyway, hope this helps. There's more videos on how to take all this apart. I'm bad about not doing that at first. I'm bad about digging into it, figuring it out, and going, dang, I should have done a video, but it's real easy to take apart. It don't look like it, but once you do it, you're like, wow, that was easy. But if you're handy, do it yourself. Save some money instead of just throwing stuff away or, you know, giving it away to somebody else, unless you got a lot of money, which right now a lot of people don't. Get out a screwdriver, meter, fix it yourself. Thanks for watching.